iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. I've got so much to cover today. I don't even know where to begin. But I will talk today about free agency and FAAB in the Scout Fantasy format, in the FFWC, okay? So if you go onto your page here, and I'm on to one of my teams here. So you have, if you drafted before September 1st, on September 1st, there is a waiver wire period. So when you go to the home page and you see your standings there, you'll go under where it says My Team, and then you will click where it says Add Drop. Boom. Then you will decide to put a bid in. So let's just say, for argument's sake, you want to get rid of a guy. So I'm going to get rid of a guy here, right? And then I'll click his name, and then I'll look for a guy on the waiver wire that I want. I'll click his name, I put the dollar amount, and then I pick submit. It's simple. It's as simple as that. Okay? So actually, I may do that now because I don't like this guy who I have on my team here. This guy stinks. So let me see here. So for example, I'm going to get rid of Kamar Aiken on one of my teams because he's not doing what I would hope that he'd be doing. So I can sort the other wide receivers out there by name, by the own percentage, by points. At this point of the year, it's very hard to do anything like that because we don't know, right? Guys haven't played yet. So I'm just going down the list, and look, this is not an easy process, going up and down the list, trying to find a guy that I don't hate. It's not easy. But now, the question is, so I got a bunch of guys here. Okay, that I've added. Some I like more than others. Some I think are decent. Some I'm like, with a side of blech, right? My concept to you guys is this. I want you to think about how many guys you really need at this time of the year where we don't know what's going on. So what I mean by that is, I don't want to spend a lot of money here in FAAB. So I click it. I bid on a few guys. I'm hoping to get a guy or two. I'm going to review my bid. I'm going to add another guy here. Right? So I will, let's see. I will cancel this bid. I'm going to edit this bid. I'm going to add another player here who I like. Right? And so I'm going through it, and I'm just tossing about guys that I may like, right? But going back to it, I don't want to spend a lot of money now. Here's why. Who knows what's happening on these teams? Is Cordero Patterson going to play a lot or a little? I don't know. I don't think he's a great player. So what am I going to bid? $100 on him? You only get 1,000. And remember, there's always guys that I want at some point later in the season. So I need to be very judicious with my money. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean if I didn't think that Cordell Patterson was going to have a big role in this offense, I'm going to get this deal done. Right? I'm going to spend what I need to get it. But there's that fine line between spending and overspending. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Watch your league mates very closely. Some guys bid, some guys don't bid. Some guys forget to bid. Some guys mean that they spend too much early. Some guys wait till the end. That's what happens in leagues. So what I try to do is watch the first couple weeks of free agency, see how much guys are bidding. Are guys bidding $10, $20, $50, $80, $280, $340, right? I will always err to the cheaper because this is a long season. I will always err to spend less early. So to me, if I'm spending $100 now, I better like the guy. I'm looking for a bargain now. Because tell me this, how many of these guys really are that good on the waiver wire? Seriously. Cordero Patterson, he's all right. Not really that good. What's he worth? 10, 20, 30 bucks? What's he worth? He's going to be my 7th receiver. So unless Amari Cooper or Michael Crabtree gets hurt, he doesn't have major value. So I want to spend my money judiciously early, and then I want to be aggressive when I need a guy. When I need a guy, I got to get the guy. All right? But remember, this is a long season. So be careful with free agent money. We haven't even started yet. We don't know who's playing. Is Adam Humphries going to play? Chris Godwin going to play? I don't know. How much am I going to spend on that? $150 to find out? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. That's why it's so important to be a good drafter. That's why it's so critical to be a good drafter. So, do what you think you need to do in free agency. If you've got injuries, look, if I got Cameron Meredith or if I got Julian Edelman, I got to be more aggressive. I get that. I will be more aggressive. Or Spencer Ware, I've got to be more aggressive. So if Charkandrick West is out there and I had Spencer Ware, I may need to step up and spend 60, 70, 80, $100 on Charkandrick West because I'm out of running back at this point. But don't ever be desperate. Did you go to a club and be desperate? How many women you taking home? 0. Don't be desperate. Be chilly. All right? Don't be desperate. You're desperate, bad things happen. All right, let's take a look at some two-a-days today. I'm going to do the 49ers and I'm going to do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. First of all, the 49ers, Brian Hoyer is the starting quarterback there. He is a placeholder because they want Kirk Cousins. Kyle Shanahan wants Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins wants to be there. Everything points to that. So Brian Hoyer is going to be the quarterback for one season. Congratulations. You'll be somewhere else next year. Who knows where? I don't know. Won't be the 49ers. The running back situation is an unmitigated mess. Carlos Hyde is clearly the most talented guy. But let me say this about Carlos Hyde. If there's a hole that's open, he can certainly run through it. I give him props for that. He did it at Ohio State. He can do it now. Where I have a problem with him is that if there's no hole, he's not a creator. He's not a creator. So he's a runner, but he's not a creator. He's not going to dance, wait for the hole. You got to give him a hole, and he'll run through it. So I don't know whether Kyle Shanahan is buying into this guy. I don't think so. He's got Tim Hightower, who's like the ageless wonder here, who still runs and catches, good at the goal line. And then they brought in this kid, Joe Williams, who Shanahan really politicked for at the draft. And don't forget a kid named Matt Breida, who looks very good right now. Matt Breida, probably in 2015, he had 1,600 yards and 17 touchdowns. All right? So this guy's pretty good. He went to Georgia Southern, which at one time was the top 1AA school in college football. So my guess is Breida gets thrown to the practice squad unless some team picks him up. But Joe Williams, keep an eye on him. Shanahan brings Williams in. You know he's going to get a shot. You know he's going to get a shot. Okay? Would I draft Carlos Hyde? Yeah, no. No, I don't trust him. Would I draft Tim Hightower? Yeah, sure, late I would. I absolutely would draft him late. 100% on that. Joe Williams, I would take late as well. Wide receiver, I think there's only two guys here. Pierre Garçon, who will not score many touchdowns, give him 4 or 5, but he will have a lot of receptions. This is a guy who could go 8 for 74 every week. It's 15 points. So what do I think of 15 points? I think it helps me win. So I do like Pierre Garçon as a safe, solid receiver. Is he going to have a 2-touchdown game? No. No. He may never see a 2-touchdown game. That's not Pierre Garçon. But I think, are we going to see double-digit targets every week? Absolutely. Should we see 6 to 8 catches a week? Absolutely. Should we see 60 to 80 yards a week? Absolutely. Put him down for 14 to 18 points every week. The other guy is Marquise Goodwin. Marquise Goodwin has all kinds of speed. This is a guy, when they say speed kills, they meant Marquise Goodwin. I think Kyle Shanahan will use Goodwin much like he used Taylor Gabriel last year. Here's the problem. Well, he's the Taylor Gabriel in our offense. Okay, I get that. But Brian Hoyer ain't no Matt Ryan. But he's going to be Taylor Gabriel. He's fast. Yeah, he's fast. But Brian Hoyer is not Matt Ryan. So you might have the player who can match the other player, but if the quarterback can't do his job, it won't matter how good Marquise Goodwin is or how fast he is. Get it? I thought the 49ers did something interesting. They traded Vance McDonald yesterday and a 5th-round pick, right, to the Steelers for a 4th-round pick. But George Kittle's going to play. George Kittle's pretty good. Give him some time. This is going to be a very nice little player here. He's big. He's athletic. He's raw. I mean, I wouldn't bend over backwards for Kittle, but I do like him a little bit. They still have Selleck on the roster. They have Logan Paulson on the roster. But Kittle's going to play. He's an athlete. So I think he's very, 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 very sneaky in best ball leagues. I mean, I'm going to take this guy like round 22, but he's interesting to me. Okay? So that's my two-a-day on the San Francisco 49ers. Now we get to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So there's something that I like to call the Hard Knocks premium. We watch Hard Knocks every year, right? We watch Hard Knocks every year. And every year we get caught up in, oh, I like this guy. He's good. He's interesting. Yeah, this guy's a leader. Oh, the coach loves him. And then I think these guys get a little overvalued. All right? They get a little overvalued. But we like them. We get, they become friends, right? We see them every week. I find myself very impressed with Jameis Winston. I mean, this guy loves the game of football. He's funny. He's a leader. I mean, he does make a bonehead throw every now and then. But I got to think that, I said a lot of negative things about Jameis Winston and the whole crab legs things. And back in college, I get it. Okay. This guy doesn't come from a lot. Probably went out with his boys, stole some crab legs and ate them. I get it. It's what college kids do. That doesn't mean he's not a good quarterback. That doesn't mean he can't lead this team. And what I love about Winston is that he's got the respect of all of his teammates. From Gerald McCoy to Quan Alexander to Mike Evans, every single one of these guys has bought into Jameis Winston. That's not easy to do. It's not easy to do, but they've done it. So Jameis Winston, to me, I think is a very nice play this year. I got him as a living lock for 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns. Living lock. So is he a top 10 quarterback? Absolutely. I loved him last year as a guy that I wanted to have, but he let me down in the playoffs. This year in the playoffs, at home for Detroit, home for Atlanta, at Carolina. Not a bad schedule. Do I trust him to get it done this year? I think so. And I'll go to Vegas and I'll take him. I won't feel warm and fuzzy about it, but I'll feel okay about it. I like the real life player maybe more than I like the fantasy player, but I like the fantasy player a lot. All right, Doug Martin seems to be really good. What is it, every other year? So 2012, good. 2015, good. Right? I mean, this guy has had good years and he's had bad years. But what I like about Doug Martin is that he found sobriety. He's clean and sober, and he's committed to playing well. And Doug Martin was as good as anybody. I mean, do you remember when Doug Martin was the number 2 pick in a draft? I mean, after 2012, when he had 1,454 yards and 472 receiving yards, guy was great. He went number 2, stunk. So I think Doug Martin can play in the NFL. And I'll tell you this, Ian Ritchie, the former number 1 player in the world, says that Doug Martin's his comeback player of the year. If Ian says it, I'm believing it. You watch him on Hard Knocks, he looks good. That said, I like Jaquiz Rodgers, so let me give you a strategy. And I saw it last year, and I guess last year I finally understood it. So we're in Vegas last year, and D'Angelo Williams goes in the 6th round. And not just to the team who has Le'Veon Bell. He just goes to a random team. And I'm like thinking, really? 6th round for D'Angelo Williams is kind of high, right? But the first 2 weeks of competition in the online championship and the main event is what we call all play weeks. You need to finish in the top 50% of the league. The top 6 teams get a win. The bottom 6 teams get a loss. Okay? Jaquiz Rodgers is going to play weeks 1, 2, and 3. So when you have those all-play weeks, Jaquiz Rodgers is going to get those touches. He should help you do well those first 2 weeks. At Miami and home for Chicago, I got to think Jaquiz Rodgers is a decent play. So when I'm in Vegas, if Jaquiz Rodgers is going and before round 9, it's not going to be a shock because he's going to help you get off to a good start. And then after that, if I get 2 wins, I'm 2 wins closer to making the playoffs, right? And getting points. So it's a strategic move. It's not a long-term move, but it is a good short-term move. Will I do that in Vegas? Probably not. Will I respect the team who does it? Yeah, because it's a clever move. Now, if somebody leaves Quiz on the board long enough, I will do it and I will play him. But I'm not going to go into the draft in Vegas, my multiple drafts, and be looking for Quiz Rodgers. I'm not. But if he's there after round 10, I'll take him. And I'll use him for 2 weeks, and then I'll cut him if I have to. But he serves a purpose, right? It's like your starter home. Is this where I'm going to live the rest of my life? No, I start in the starter home. Jaquiz Rodgers is a starter home. I'm not buying into Charles Sims. I think he's a dog with fleas. I like Mike Evans. I do. I like Mike Evans a whole lot. Mike Evans is a big, tall, strong guy who wins. Donald Trump would like him. He's a winner. He wins. Right? 50-50 balls, Mike Evans is getting them. Here's the one problem, though. Mike Evans is not blessed with great hands. His hands are average at best. Average at best. That said, I still think he catches a dozen touchdowns. And I'm all in on him as a top 7 pick. Deshaun Jackson. So, don't kid yourself. I live in Florida, lived here for 15 years. I love the weather. It's Christmas Day. I'm wearing shorts. You can't beat that. All right? When Santa comes, I'm wearing shorts. Now, is it romantic to be by the fire? Is it nice to watch snow out of my window? I bet it is. Not for me. If it's December, if it's November, if it's January, and I'm playing golf in a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, I'm a happy kind of guy. So's Deshaun Jackson. He's from California. He's been freezing his butt off in Philadelphia and Washington. Trust me when I tell you, he wants to be in Tampa Bay. He could have signed anywhere. Anywhere. Everybody wanted him. He came to Tampa. He came to Tampa Bay for a few reasons. 1, Jameis Winston. 2, Mike Evans. And 3, the weather. And of course, 4, the money. But now, he's not the number 1 guy. Mike Evans is going to see the number 1 receiver, or the number 1 cornerback. Deshaun Jackson gets the number 2 guy. He gets good weather, and he gets a guy who likes to throw the ball deep in Jameis Winston. A plus B equals C on my team. I like Deshaun Jackson this year. Take a look at Chris Godwin, too. Very good player in college. Played at Penn State. Like this kid. Had 11 touchdowns last year. I think he makes the team. If I draft Mike Evans, I am taking Chris Godwin in round 19. I will. All right, at tight end, you've got 2 guys. You've got O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate. So let's talk about O.J. Howard. There's nothing I don't like about this guy. There's really nothing I don't like about him. He is a football player. The only thing I don't like is that he's young. And I've always told you that tight ends don't get it done the first year unless you're a blocker or a receiver. You don't do both things as a tight end. It's like a catcher in baseball. You're either good behind the plate or you're a good hitter, but you don't do both. It's going to take O.J. Howard time to learn how to do both. The problem is, and why he's not really draftable in fantasy, is that Cameron Brate is a very good receiver. Cameron Brate is a huge, huge target. He's like 6'5", 6'6", and he's really good in the red zone. And Jameis Winston looks for him. He looks for Evans and he looks for Brate. So Howard's not going to catch the touchdowns. I like Howard, but not in a standard league. I like Brate more. I like Brate more than Howard this year. I'll take Brate before Howard. Do I think Howard will be a better player? Absolutely, without question. 100%. But for my purposes, I like Cameron Brate more this year. Okay? Time now to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. I want you to go to playffwc.com right now. You come in here, there's championships. There's an online championship tonight, right? There's a world championship Thursday night. Saturday, I'm doing a best ball league at 11. Sunday night, I'm doing an online championship draft very late. Right? Very late. 11:30. The wife's asleep. The kids are asleep. I'm drafting. So I hope you guys go there too. You know I say it all the time. Best payouts, best customer service. Easy to use draft room. Easy to use draft room. All right, and please be a member of scoutfantasy.com. Enter the promo code ROTO2017. Get half off your first month with us. I mean, come on. You want to win your league, got to do it with Scout Fantasy. All right, guys. Wishing you a great day. See you tomorrow. Be well. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!